Okay.
All right, I'd like to call Adams County Board of Supervisors meeting to order. Would you lead us in a prayer?
Yeah. Let us stand. Let's bow heads. Oh, wise and gracious Father, we thank you, oh God, this morning for allowing us to see another day, oh God. And Father, we just thank you for having in our right mind and the strength and in your presence, oh God. And Father, we just petition your throne, oh God. We just ask, oh God, you continue to keep us safe, oh God, from any hurt, harm, or danger. Father, look out on our elected officials, continue to keep them safe and keep them endeavors, oh God, as they look towards you, oh God. Father, protect them families. And Father, just give them wisdom from on high to continue to lead your people. Father, we just pray for this community, our first responders, our teachers and our kids, our doctors, our nurses, oh God. And Father, we just continue to cover the loved ones. Father, we want to pray for the family they may have lost loved ones. Continue to comfort them, oh God, and continue to keep them closer to you, oh God. And Father, we just ask all these prayers in your precious Son, Jesus' name. Amen.
If you would, say the pledge. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
This time I'd like to call the roll. Supervisor Gray.
Yeah.
Supervisor Hutchins.
Present.
Supervisor Wilson. Supervisor Wilson will be here, but he'll be a little late. Supervisor Gaines.
Present.
County Attorney Scott Slover. Here. Chancery Clerk Brandy Lewis.
Present.
Deputy Clerk Paige Dean.
Present.
County Administrator Angie King.
Here.
And I am present as well. This time I need a motion to approve the dockets.
I move.
A motion by Supervisor Hutchins, can we get a second? Second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion?
Yes, sir, Mr. President. I'm voting against claim number 3279, and the date is 7/14/22.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it. Next on the docket, city government business, if any. Don't see anybody.
Have we came up with a date for a joint meeting where we can resolve some of these issues that need to be resolved, dealing with, we got 2 or 3 issues, E911, whatever the case may be, so have we set up a date?
We requested dates. They were waiting until they had their chance to look at the dispatch and send a report back. So now that there's a request back at us, I would imagine that they'd be willing to set up a date.
Okay.
Next on the agenda is departmental report. Mr. Hughes?
Yes, sir.
Good morning, Board President, Mr. Middleton, and Board Supervisor. I'm Larry Hughes, Adams County Tax Assessor. I did run 2 ads in the paper for a public notice of taxpayers. This is basically the 2022 tax assessment roll that's been completed, and the new roll will be open to the public for inspection on July 18 and 19 of 22. The roll would then be turned over to the Board of Supervisors for hearing for any type of objection on August 1st, 2022. Once the adjustments have been completed, the roll will be sent to the Mississippi State Department of Commission and no changes will be made. In that, we are in the process of reassessing and subscribed and mandated by the state law. And it is advised that taxpayers review the tax assessment. So I just basically wanted to bring that to the board attention that we did do that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hughes.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Hughes,
Yes, sir.
you ran that in the Democrat?
I did put up to the post and the next Democrat.
I saw it, and I think that's gonna be real, if they read it and understand what they read, that's gonna be real beneficial to them, where they won't be running down here after the time has elapsed to try to get business done and it's too late.
Right. I just want to make sure everybody knew.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks, sir. Who's next?
Report from July the 1st. My name is Annette, E911 Dispatch. I had a report from July the 1st up until now. Well, with the calls that's been received for Adams SO is 389. Natchez Fire Department 23, and PD is 703.
Thank you, Ms. Evans.
Good morning, Board. Bree Cooks, Adams County Executive Assistant. I'm coming to, for travel for Darrell Smith as well as myself for August the 22nd through the 25th in Birmingham, Alabama for the Southeast Radiology Emergency Preparedness Conference.
Has that been turned in, Ms. Stokes, or you have?
I have it.
Can I get a copy?
Yeah.
Okay, we do have a form here, it's filled out and signed, $230 for each person traveling, two of them. You heard the request.
So moved.
A motion by Supervisor Gaines, second by Supervisor Gray, any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
And also, I would like to let you all know that Samuel Minor and Scotty Irving are now, certified to work on all sirens. This is what they are. So they're back in town and they're certified to work on all sirens.
Good, thank you.
You up?
Good morning. My name is Ms. Martin. I'm the purchase clerk for the Adams County Board of Supervisors. I would like to spread across the minutes to get the credit card statement approved for the procurement part and for the Adams County Sheriff Department travel card.
You heard the request.
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Gray, second by Supervisor McKinney. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
And I would also like to get approved the advertisement for the 1 year road department supplies, the 1 year and the 6 months
So
for
moved.
the advertisement.
Motion by Supervisor Gaines, second by Supervisor Gray. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
All right, thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Martin.
Go. You good. Morning, Board. I wanted to share some good news. We have succeeded with our recruiting efforts in hiring 3 new paramedics for Adams County operations. As y'all know, we've had, for a year now, had bonuses set out there for these type people to get them on board, and we were successful in getting 3 on the staff. They're completing their operations orientation process and will be filling unit hours right here in the county here coming very quickly. Additionally, we were successful in advancing 2 of our EMTs. They took an EMT advanced course, which the company paid for them to take. One of them successfully completed his practical application testing over the weekend and is right now, as we speak, testing his written exam for National Registry. That'll also be an asset, and one successfully completed both over the weekend, so I wanted to share that news with you. Just to give you an idea, we continue to see around a 10% increase in the amount of both 911 and private call that's taking place. We have identified 1 resident that is an E911 abuser, and I've communicated that with both the Sheriff's Department and with E911 Director Fales. We've transported them 47 times in the last couple of months, and each time they've checked out of the hospital AMA as soon as we get there. They're calling us for a ride to town, and they're laughing about it when they walk out the door. So I've reported that appropriately to 911 and to the Sheriff's Department. The Sheriff's Department, Billy and I are working on a plan to go out and speak with this individual to shut down that behavior, because it's just not something we want to see. I wanted to share that with you this morning. Does the board have any questions for me?
Anybody have any questions? I just pass it around, there's one for everybody.
Thank you.
I don't think so. Thank you, Steve.
Yes, sir.
I have one more thing. Last week, we got approved for Barrett Clay to travel to Pearl for his orientation. However, it was rescheduled because his check wasn't cut in time. So he's gonna be going on August the 29th, and the 30th. So I'm gonna request travel for Barrett Clay for his orientation class in Pearl on August the 29th and the 30th.
Got a motion by Supervisor Hutchins, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Good morning, Board. Just gonna give you some more updates on the airport. The airport during construction is actually still having great fuel sales. The tenants are filling everything up. Actually, the airport has only got one open hangar at the moment, so all the rest of them have been leased. And saying that, I've got several jets that are wanting to come into the airport. Jordan Trucking and a Honda Jet, several King Air 90s are wanting to come in. So saying that, I've got with Scott and Chandler Russ about possibility of doing the MDA loan to build a hangar or two to help access more of the jets that are out there. There will be a jet that will be at the airport this week, and the only place I can put them is in the community hangar for the time being until we can come up with something. So our jet fuel sales should extremely rise throughout the upcoming months because of these jets that are coming. So that's good news for the airport. Construction is still proceeding. We'll get done with that. Also, the board has just signed and approved the lighting project for this year. It's an $880,000 grant that the airport will be responsible for 5% match. I was hoping one of the commissioners were going to be here, but they may be coming back to y'all to see if they can get some help on that. But that's not my decision, that's theirs. Any questions, I'll be happy to answer at this time if y'all. Yes, sir.
I was just wondering, how was the renovation coming on with the voting precinct? Because I know it, previously you said, you know, it's gonna have to be moved when, you know, you start progress.
Yes, the water has been hooked up into that room. The room has been painted. We got to finish some minor things in there as far as cleanup. We're gonna put some new carpet in there and everything, and it should be ready to go.
Okay.
Have you heard anything on Southern Air?
Southern Airways Express has been talking with us a lot. They are looking at different routes at the moment. The reason they're looking at different routes at the moment is maybe to access Natchez at a sooner date than later. But the key goal for the airport is to try to get into Dallas. I think Dallas will keep everybody from accessing money. I think if we try to go somewhere else, we may be spending more of our risk mitigation money. And the grant, Small Communities Air Service Development Grant, has not been awarded yet. They said by the end of summer. So we're really kind of waiting on that too to see if we need to also proceed with that. There is an airline conference in October 16th through the 18th. They are pushing me to go, but I'm trying to push not to go because of the cost of the registration and everything on that. But that is also another opportunity to reach out to different airlines and also try to receive the MDA grant, which takes a 121 operator. So we'll still try to proceed the best way we can, but we're trying to do it without using the county's money.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you, Mr. Nelson. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
The grant he's talking about, MBA offers to finance the building of the hangars. If you have somebody that will underwrite the debt service for it, in this case, it would be Jordan Carriers and another group.
Maroon Aviation.
Yeah, and then loss prevention or whatever.
Yeah, loss prevention. Yeah.
Built two hangars. I think the interest rate's at 3%. So is that something the board wants to look at us applying for?
Yeah, I think so.
You don't need a motion, I'm just making sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
We had done it before, some years
Yeah,
back.
Boone, the Democrat hangar, yes.
Right. Okay.
Thank you.
Good morning, board.
Morning.
First thing I had this morning, I'd like the board to accept Leon Dorsey Jr.'s letter of resignation. His last day was July the 14th, 2022. And I would like to ask the board to give me permission to advertise for his position.
So,
Second.
There's a motion by Supervisor Gaines, second by Supervisor Hutchins. I do have that letter here. All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Excuse me, Robbie, what is his position?
Ma'am,
What is his position?
he's a truck driver. Other thing I have, I was asked to look on Dunbar Road about a fire hydrant. I did look, I got with Darrell Smith, see Darrell here, about putting one there. And I do have something here, an email from Darrell that I will give to you, Mr. Middleton. It says there's another fire hydrant about 0.2 miles from 114, and it's, you know, they said they could put one, there's one at the beginning of Blair Court, Dunbar and Blair Court, but they could definitely use one in another area out there. So Darrell will let you know, I guess, where to put one, but he said it was one less than 0.2 miles from that address
Okay,
that you were asking about.
thank you.
Okay. Just waiting to hear something on those 4 EWP sites on Low Water Bridge, 2 on Magnolia Bluffs and the 24 Lincoln Heights. Waiting on Norman. Like I said, I do need to do something with Low Water Bridge. It's getting to be a emergency. We're losing part of the road, so I'm just waiting to hear from them. But that is 4 more sites that we will have. We sold several pieces of equipment through Gov Deal in the last few weeks. We should be receiving the check on that, and it really surprised me at what used equipment is going for. So I told Mr. King we should have something on that in the next week or so on that part. The other thing I have is 72 Oak Ridge, and I was trying to wait on Brent to get back in here. I don't know where he went to talk to him. I need to get an update on 72 Oak Ridge, so I guess when he gives his report, I'll ask that. That's a EWP site that had fell through the cracks that we had found and brought back to their attention, and it ties into another site that was there. Both sites are getting worse, the original one and the one that we're trying to work on. So when he comes in, I'm gonna ask him when he gives his report about it. Any questions for me? That's all I have.
Your day,
Yeah, that was last Thursday. I took a day off last Thursday. You have that in hand. I'd send it down here. Okay, send it to Angie. Okay. All right, that was, I don't know the date of it, but it was last Thursday. Okay. That's it.
thank you, sir.
Thank y'all.
Can I, one second, Mr. Ford, can I get a motion to approve this day off for road manager, please?
So moved.
Motion by Supervisor Hutchins, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. Mr. Ford, you good?
Good morning, board. Just quick updates on a couple of items in the county. EWP Group 4 contractor has began working South Palestine Road, so they've done a pretty good job of clearing on that project. The second thing is the second striping on the project, SAP 19.5M. We got approval from state aid on Thursday to move forward with that project. So we have gentlemen in the field now collecting all the field data required to do the design for that project. Burke Road project, we had a field review on last Tuesday. We received some additional comments and a request to modify our bridge design. So we started making a modification to our bridge. and as well addressing the other comments that came. We've also started developing our permit documents as well as our environmental documents for that bridge. As far as the SAP, the previous striping only project, SAP 01 8.5M, the contractor came out on Thursday of last week and completed on Friday of last week, and they replaced all the missing raised paving markers. It was about 45 of them that they replaced. So since they've done that, they complete their punch list item, and so we can move forward with closing that project out. I have a permit request from AT&T. They're requesting to install fiber along the following roads. It's 9 of them. Steam plant.
What road, I'm sorry?
I'm just gonna call them out all night. Steam Plant Road, Reba Christian Road, West Wilderson Road, East Wilderson Road, Wilderness Road, Prince Edition, Cleothea Henyard Heights, Green Acres Road, Greenwood Subdivision Road, and Greenwood Plantation Road. So I need a board's approval to allow them to install the fiber along those 9 roads.
You heard the request, county engineer. Motion by Supervisor Gaines, second by Supervisor Hutchins. Any discussion?
Yes, and they went through the process of permits or whatever through the county since we adopted it.
I didn't know there was adoption.
We adopted it, what, a month ago?
Yeah, 6 weeks or something like that, we have a permit process for their place.
Well, I need a copy of that process so I can make sure I forward it to AT&T.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, thank you. And I'll just send it back as a comment, and so we can approve it pending that approval.
Yeah. All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
So I won't sign it and send it until they've done their report.
Yes, sir.
I don't think it changed much except about maintenance and perpetuity. I don't think it.
Okay.
But they, I mean, they need a copy of it.
All right, well, whatever needs to be done, I'll make sure it gets taken care of. All right. Morgantown Road, we sent a cloud link to JKS to allow them to upload the files. They did upload all the files, and just this morning I did get the hard copy of the construction plans that were stamped by the engineer. So those should be the construction drawings. I just got them this morning, so I haven't really had a chance to review them yet. So we'll begin that process of reviewing the drawings and make sure that everything is forward the drawings are concerned. With MDOT administering the fund, there still is a LPA process they want us to follow. And so I did send Mr. Slover a checklist of those items. I can send it to all the board members if you would like me to. There's certain documents that have to be created in order to complete the PS&E assembly. And based on the meeting that we had, they want us to start at that phase. So there are a lot of documents that have to be created for that. So we've already began doing that as well to try to expedite that process. Are there any questions about Morgantown Road?
Mr. President, we did have a meeting about Morgantown Road, County Administrator Riley, Scott, me, Warren, and the engineer was there. So I think it was a good positive meeting, and I think we're on the right track. But Mr. Attorney, could you explain, one of y'all explain to the rest of the board members exactly what took place and where we at now, and what Mr. Frederick, which I really thought that he was real positive and want Morgantown Road project to start. And especially when we showed them the pictures and mentioned that they are in the process of closing some schools and putting more kids on Morgantown Road than we have now. So he mentioned that he had kids himself, and he's doing everything in his power to make sure that we can get this Morgantown Road project underway. So could you inform the rest of the board members what took place there?
The most important thing is what you ended with, is we had somebody that's probably one of the key people that's making sure that whether we can do the project or not, it checks off all the boxes and so forth, is, says he wants this project to make, he's to do everything he can to do it, and seem very open to different strategies that we propose to get this thing going. So that was like the most positive thing about it. And that's just been a good vibe that we've received from MDOT. Again, I couldn't ask for a happier vibe that you got. What we've been looking at is we do have delays. We gotta go make sure the plans are up to specs and so forth. We need to make sure we have to go through an entity that has an audit that's up to date. We have talked to the city. Again, we've asked them to try to chip in their proportion. Actually, it was actually suggested to us that they would. We've sent a map that George came up with as far as city to county roads. Actually forwarded that over to the city, and I sent it to one of the aldermen because they actually asked where we got that figure from. I think that we'll be able to take the NDOT money, which is traditionally an 80-20 match, the NDOT money, the earmark money, I'm sorry. The earmark money is traditionally an 80-20 match, and I suggested that maybe we could break it into two separate projects. The reason being is that it would allow us to use other sources of money for the rest of the money that didn't have to be matched. And that was something that the project was extremely open to. I even suggested a different funding source that might be at, and he's actually over it and said that could be doable. So we have a lot of opportunity to reduce our costs, or at least to say reduce our costs, acquire as much outside funding as we can, along with the funding to do it. And probably going to be a project where we get an interlocal agreement in with the city and do it together along with NDOT and everything else. Is there anything I missed there, Ricky? I was trying to.
Well, Supervisor Gaines, you want to tag in, or you think you got everything?
I mean, I think he got everything. Basically, like Scott, we did find somebody who came in and was looking and willing to try to help to get Morgantown Road done. So we do have avenues and we are working toward it. And so basically, we just need to get our ducks in order and let Scott continue to work and with them and IMS and MDOT and just move forward.
And I would like to say after that meeting, the next day I did call Harry James with State Aid, the engineer, and had a positive conversation with him about the money that they have over there, and let him know that MDOT had been done, and we had a positive meeting with them. So when the ball hit his court, I'm expecting him to do what he got to do to make sure that we have those funds over there for Morgantown Road. And you know, major thing with me, I keep up with so much paperwork, and I went back and looked, and Morgantown is part of the 4-year road plan for the county. So we got to do what we got to do to take care of Morgantown Road. My only concern is where do we go from here? I know we waiting on this and waiting on that, but he gave us some avenues where we can pretty much get this ball rolling. So what is our next move?
Well, of course, George is going through those plans real carefully, making sure that there's not any gaps or anything that we need, and doing whatever else it is that engineers do. On our end, we've already started conversations with the city, and I think that that's something that should be on our agenda. One of the things that we discuss when it comes to, you know, the joint meeting that we're going to have, and I'm trying to send them the information that we have on the project to answer any questions that they have on it.
Mr. President, I watched part of the city meeting, and I think we got to break this down clear where a baby can understand what we're asking them to do, because when $600,000 came up at their meeting, and they was trying to figure out like that was a lot of money, and the road is 0.09, and they responsible for 0.04, but this project is an over $4 million project, so $600,000 is not a lot of money for 0.04 on Morgantown Road. So I think if we break that down to them, I think they can better understand it.
I think you're absolutely correct.
Out of 4 million, they paying $600,000.
When I heard about it too, I picked up the phone and called my alderman and said, hey, what's going on? And I think a lot of it was we just need to provide the information that we got and explain itself. So I think Butch used to say, no, it's just a request for more information. I think it's just, a lot of that's a request for more information. If we give it to them, I think everyone's gonna be excited about it.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Any other questions for the board?
Just let me know, George, if the plans are good, just let me know.
Okay. The last thing, just for your information, I provided everyone with the latest status of funds from state aid. That's just letting you know how much money you have available for the CANS program. We can start using your state aid fund for any projects that are state aid. So I just want you guys to have that number in your hands.
Speaking on, Mr. President. Well, speaking on that, I did have, I was looking at, we defund, McGee Road Bridge. It was 320-something thousand that came back into state aid, from the state aid form by deprogramming that program. But in the meanwhile, I was also looking at, the access to those roads. We had, Emerald Mound, which was a tourist attraction over there that in terrible shape, and we also had Tay Road that cut off and that's going to the state park right now. But I think we had got a quote about 200,000 on Tate Road. Emerald Mound was not, did not qualify for state aid because it's not a state aid road, but it's a state aid, correct me if I'm wrong, state aid bridge on Tate that makes it qualify. So I was kind of looking at that and asked the board, since it's not going to cost anything different and it's going back into the fund, we're not going to do that project. Could we possibly just take part of that money and ask the engineer to kind of give us some quotes on getting Tate Road done? I wanted to bring it before the board today.
You heard, did you have?
Yeah. Did you say it was like 200,000?
Yeah.
Okay, then so it's gonna come to 300 and.
No. That's how much coming back.
Right.
That's putting back.
Right.
But we had a price on it, and it was like 200 and.
I was just measuring how many
Yeah,
miles.
measuring
out
how
there,
many,
just
and what we were gonna do,
Blaine,
we-
just using some prices from Blaine, that was a rough figure.
Yeah, and so we would have to get another exact number because we could go only from the state aid part. So the state aid part, it possibly might not be the full amount is what was quoted. So it's possible it can be under that amount. And I wanted to see if it was possible that we can take a part of that. And I wanted to make a motion that give up the engineer the authority to go ahead and look at getting that part of it done if it was okay for the board, and I want to present it to the board before I move any further. Second.
Got a motion by Supervisor
Right,
Gay.
now discussion.
Second by Supervisor Gray, any discussion?
Okay, my discussion is, that 1,786,000, and you did say that some of the striking got to come out of this funding, am I correct?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
don't think so.
267 is going to come out of that.
267?
Yes, ma'am. It's going to come out of 1.7, 1.76.
Yeah, 267, Okay, 267,000, okay. And you asking him that he found a price in order to take road, what's
Yeah, and
that
then
bridge?
process under that amount, we can move forward because 300 and some thousand just coming
Yeah.
back in.
Right.
And
So 327?
That's from the McGee Bridge.
that's from the McGee Bridge.
So that money goes back into your bridge.
Bridge fund instead
So
of
it can
road.
be used for road. Go back to your bridge.
I thought, was Tate not a brick, wasn't there a state aid?
Yeah, that's what I thought we talked about.
But the money that was from the McGee Road was LSVP, was strictly for bridge. So once you deprogram that, that goes back into bridge only funds. So you only can use state aid funds for state aid road. Even though there was a bridge on it, the fund for the actual road part of it can only be used from state aid funds. We can't use the LSVP funds for the road.
We would have to come out of that 172, along with the
Yeah.
striping at the two something.
But we do have But why I asked you and made a motion, because it will be going back into the state aid, and we do have additional bridges and stuff like that that we can do, so the fund would be there, that's additional funds that's going back.
Right, okay, he said this going back into the bridge and not the road. Can we get a price?
That's what
on
the motion.
We already, this motion, that was the motion.
The motion.
That was the motion, yeah,
Price.
yeah, with the price and.
Yeah.
And while we're still in discussion, I do have York Road Bridge, and if we do not get approved for that grant, those are some funds that I would hope we would be able to use on York Road, because that bridge is shut down right now. So that is a priority.
So that is.
That is, that bridge is closed. So, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Ayes have it.
Any other questions for me?
Real, back to Burke Road, the only question I had is, do you have any type of time frame?
Not on the environmental could take up to 45 days to do environmental. So in that process, we'll be getting the design and everything completed. We're trying to do it parallel, so try to cut down on the design time right now. But the environmental is what's going to take the most time.
So after environmental, what's the time frame look like?
Once we get the environmental, that should be the last thing. We should be already designed and ready to go to trees at that point in time.
But we need right of ways, is that right?
So one of my survey guys will be starting that this week. After when we have something to do on South Palestine on Wednesday, then they'll start on the plastic restriction, get to use something to get right there.
And
So all of that should.
Someone's put the beds, is that?
Shoes with feds, pass back and
White side.
right side. So it's three you have to deal with.
Mr. President, I have a question. I'm just looking at this, grant opportunity for transportation by Senator, Roger Wilkie. Reconnecting community pilot program, with that money, if we could get a piece of that money, would that kind of benefit us, to spend that money somewhere in Adams County?
I have to look at what the requirements for and what it can be spent on. Different funding mechanisms have certain requirements and restrictions, so I can look at it and see what can be done, and I can always let you guys know.
Okay, thank you.
I believe that's it.
Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, sir. Mr. Ford, I believe that's it.
I appreciate you guys.
Thank you, sir.
Excuse me, Mr. Polk, I have a question. On Liberty Road, I think you did this, the miles on Liberty Road, how many miles it was, because I know it's a bad road also. You did get the miles, did you also get a price on it?
Not for the resurfacing. We did the striping from the Natchez Center limits to Cranfield Road as of right now. That's what's being striped.
Okay.
Are you asking me to get a price for something else that's related to that? For the
But I
resurfacing?
think we had looked at that before because we was gonna put it in the raise grant, but we pulled it from the raise grant so that Supervisor Gaines can look at a road, two roads, Tate and some other road.
So you got to, on Liberty Road, you have to let me know where you want to start and stop. I would not recommend going forward with a striping project.
Right.
I'm gonna go back and pave it.
Right.
So I need to know that as soon as possible.
I'm quite sure it won't be in this funding anyway. That's gonna cost quite a bit, but.
Yeah, but if you ask me to, I can always come over there.
We can get an estimate, is that what you want?
Yeah.
Yeah, I can get an estimate.
Do a motion on that too?
Yeah, motion.
Motion by Supervisor Hutchins, can I get a second? Second by Supervisor Gaines, any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
We'll take care of it.
Thank you.
Who's up?
Good morning, Board.
Good morning.
I've got a few things here. I think we presented this last board meeting. We've got 3 sergeants in the jail that's been in the acting sergeant's position for almost a year now. And we wanted to go ahead and go with the promotion to sergeant. I think you've already got that. LaShonda Granger, Lakeisha Harris, and Tanisha Fennell.
All right, hold on.
Granger, Harris, and Fennell.
I've got two in here, correctional officers, one's Nettles and one's Williams.
All right, that's new hires.
So this is an increase in pay, correct?
Right, they're
I don't have those.
Miss King, did Jackie get you these over the weekend or Friday?
It's not in, who is it?
Granger, Harris, and Purnell. That was the one that we promoted to sergeant in the jail that's been active sergeant for almost a year. So.
I don't have
I
them.
put everything in there that I got, let me see.
Their rate of pay is gonna go to 14.
To the force present.
Yeah, Corvettes. Absent.
Yeah.
You look at Mr. Nitty, you want to go to these other two?
Right.
Come back.
Okay, the other two, one of them's part-time, the other one's full-time. The part-time is gonna be Juanita Williams. Her hourly rate's gonna be $16. And like I said, her annual is gonna be $16,640.
Yep.
And then Nettles, he's coming back at a rate of $14.94. He'll be working full-time, $31,075.
You heard the request, Mr. Nitty. Got a motion by Supervisor Gaines, second by Supervisor Hutchins. Any discussion?
What is the 14, what is that for?
Sergeant's pay, $14.94 is sergeant.
You say when he coming back, he left?
He left as a sergeant, and we're hiring him back as a sergeant.
Okay.
All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Sheriff, can you mute your phone?
Hey, Sheriff.
Sheriff, will you mute your phone, please? All right. Mr. Nitty, go
I
ahead.
can make you a copy of this other paperwork. We gave it to Miss King. I can make you a copy of it.
She is
On the
not.
brief road.
What? Anthony knows. You want to give me, let me see that, please. Okay, we have Ms. Purnell has a pay rate change, hourly rate $14.94, $31,075.20. Lakeisha Harris, pay rate change $14.94, same amount. And LaShonda Granger, same amount. So these are all pay rate changes. You heard the request, Mr. Neal. Motion by Supervisor Gaines, can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Hutchins. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Also, one other thing I had, last week, we had 3 employees out for COVID. 2 of them was in the jail, one of them was a jail assistant administrator. This week, we got 2 jailers out, and one of our guys that works on the road crew, he tested positive, and we're dealing with that. So. But other than that, that's all I have.
Mr. President?
Yes, sir.
Mr. Brad, could you give us an update on this COVID issue? Because we ain't talked about COVID in a while, and everywhere I go, everybody I talk to say, these numbers are up. So could somebody give us an update of what's going on?
Yeah, good morning, board. I was gonna come in. I was What we're looking at, our numbers are increasing. We got a new variant out there. The state is tracking these numbers going up. I don't think the governors or the health department is going to put any kind of advisories out right now, but we still like the people that, you know, if you feel comfortable wearing your mask, wear your mask. They're being spreaded, you know, everybody know we got a lot of events going on. So, you know, the best thing against that is get vaccinated. I think they're talking about getting another booster shot to anyone under 50 now. I think it's the original booster shot was 50 and up, so they're looking at revamping that for anyone 50 and under. With that, also, we still doing COVID testing at our safe room. We do have a lot of the at-home tests, but a lot of people don't trust them because you have to do it a certain way. And it's hard to try to give yourself one of those nose tests. You try to cheat on it, and you know, you're gonna get bad results. So, you know, the good thing is if you don't feel with you at home, like I said, we still do Tuesdays and Thursdays at the safe room from 9:30 to 2:30. You do have to register on the web, just like you would do in the Mississippi Department of Health, to get a appointment scheduled on that. So with that, this week I'm gonna be getting with the health department, order some more masks. I know a lot of people want the KN95s, so I'm gonna try to order some of those to start getting some of those in. The jail had an outbreak, so we did give them sprayers so they can do a deep cleaning in the jail. So at this time, I'll be getting with Raven on that, and possibly if these numbers continue to go up, you know, we'll try to come up with some solutions to help keep the county offices clean and also keep protected on that.
Mr. President, I don't want to scare nobody, but I did get a text a couple of weeks ago from, from a nurse friend of mine in Baptist Hospital in Jackson, and he said that this new variant, there's no cough, no fever, a lot of joint pain, headache, neck and upper back pain, general weakness and loss of appetite, and a pneumonia type deal. So we don't need to be downplaying this. We need to put everything we got to put out there to make sure we protect our people in this community. That's pretty much all I got to say on that.
Okay, yeah, like I said, if any of your constituents need masks or something like that, you know, elderly, just let them know. We'll try to get some to them.
Yeah, and I would like to add that it's going around within the county, and I would recommend that all departments refrain from hanging in other departments. You know, just stay in your department. A lot of times people, and I know people want breathers and they want to walk out, you know, but we're asking that if you got anything that can be transported through in-office mail, paperwork or whatever, transported through in-office mail instead of just walking into the departments, because it's bad.
Could you send out a memo?
I'm going to send out a memo to their effect.
Also put out there, if you have employees that's feeling bad, regardless of what it is, tell them don't come to work. You know, I'd rather they stay at home if they got fevers and stuff like that. A lot of them still come to work, and you know, well, I might be all right, but tell them, you know, if they got leave, just tell them to stay at home. You know, just to be cautious until they get an accurate test.
Okay, y'all, we gotta move. We're 10 o'clock, we had a bid of it.
Yeah.
Okay, 2 bid openings.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Let's see, we've got a bid opening for the Majorca Road project. Would y'all like sheet for bids?
Hi, I'm Chris Gibson with State Aid, and we're opening bids on on project number SAP 017M. And, let's see, I did The estimate on this job is $279,895. $279,895. The first bid I'm going to open is Hope Enterprises of Natchez, Mississippi. Certificate of responsibility is $24,198. He has acknowledged the addendum. The bid bond is with Atlantic Specialty Insurance Company. It is for 5% of the bid. And it appears to be in order. The non-inclusion affidavit is filled out and signed. The EV certification is filled out and signed. The proposal is signed. And their bid is $343,774.00. $343,774.00. Next bidder is Dozer LLC of Natchez, Mississippi. Certificate of responsibility is 1567. They have acknowledged addendum number 1. Their bid bond is with Swiss Re. It is for 5% of the bid. And it appears to be in order. Non-inclusion affidavits are filled out and signed. The EV certification is filled out and signed. The proposal is signed. And their bid is $344,458.92. $344,458.92. And the last bidder we have is G. Rayburn Contracting of Natchez, Mississippi. Certificate of responsibility is $22,547. He has acknowledged addendum number 1. The bid bond is with Grant Re. It is 4 or 5% of the bid. And it appears to be in order. Affidavits are filled out and signed. The EV certification is filled out and signed. The proposal is signed. And their bid is $289,470.00. $289,470. And if y'all will take these under advisement, I will go check them and make a recommendation.
Motion by Supervisor Hutchins, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I guess at this time, all I have is the, I think, don't we have another bid opening at 10?
That's fine.
Yeah. Start checking.
Yeah, what?
Bid opening for our bond.
Mr. President, we have a bid opening on the bond.
Good morning. Good morning. How are you?
We've been sure with government consultants here. I have to name it, right, was usually around here. See, there was one bid that was dropped off this morning. I don't know if there's another one that happened to come by in the last 20 minutes or so, but
Angie, there was no other bids dropped off for the bond in the last couple of minutes.
I'll go ahead and move. This one is from Home Bank. Let's see, so there is a good faith check in the correct amount. It has a net interest rate at 3.80 over an 11-year term. 3.8 is flat. It was signed. It is, yeah, everything's in conformance on this bid. We'll see if there's another one per se.
No more.
No more. So as the only bid here, and just, I guess we'll put preference, right? We've had a few bid openings around the state for several different projects. This is a general obligation project for the parks. We've done some road projects on the debt side recently. Rates are definitely higher than they used to be, right? It's also related to a couple of things. The existence of audits, right, is one measure, as well as just a few other issues that are going on around the state right now related to, banks and their aggressiveness of coming out and buying. We had a bid opening last week, got no bids on it. Had a bid opening 2 weeks prior to that, and it was about 3 bids on it, right? And so at a 3.8, I would say that is within where the market currently is on an 11-year bid on a bank offered only deal, right? So as Home Bank would be the sole purchaser, they would hold it for the entire length through the 11 years. The bid does have, or the bond itself does have an optional redemption in 2028 for 29 thereafter, as a possibility, right, for what's out there as well. But that's a market rate bid from what we've seen from several other different entities around the state in a couple different other areas as well. So I would tell you that I think this is a decent bid, but it would be up to the board if whether they would what they would like to do with that.
Need a motion?
So moved.
A motion by Supervisor Hutchins, can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Gaines, any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
All right, I'm gonna do some quick math on this as well and make sure we're all in good shape here, but it appears to be everything appears to be in order. Thank you all.
Thank you. Mr. Ware, you want to go?
I really didn't have them. We did have, good morning. We did go back and revisit the alcohol at the pool, and I think Kerry Simpson moved to keep it going, and the board unanimously approved. So I think she got a copy, and you all should have a copy of it. Sharika Miller should be moved up to pool director starting on the 15th of this month. So her benefits should start on the 15th. I think that came up. We have swim lessons starting tomorrow at 6. The sheriff department will be there. The sheriff itself is going to take swim lessons. I think 5 deputies starting on tomorrow at 6. As of right now, I think we have put in $20,000 into the account. We was looking for a check, and I think they finally found it, which the cathedral pays for to use the pool. They had sent it to the city, and the city turned around and sent, I think we finally found it. That should be put into that account. We're doing a little thing for the lifeguards today since the pool is closed. We're having a little cookout over there for our lifeguards today, starting at about 6, so if any of you all wanna come, you can come by. There's gonna be some hot dogs, and they're gonna celebrate amongst themselves because school getting ready to start, and most of them will be separated. That's all I really have. Anybody got any questions?
So, I have a form here for Ms. Miller, and it states pay rate change, but there are no.
It goes to 30,000. You had already approved that. That was already pre-approved for when the city put in 15,000, county put in 15,000. That was paid mine on pay. What we did was put her into that position, and I think in a prior, back in our first meeting, it was put on there. We just put her on a 30-day trial until that day came up, which actually the 15th of this month is when it should start. So it's 30,000 a year.
So we only approving the pay.
You prove it, yeah. Proving the pay, yeah.
So,
Motion by Supervisor Hutchins. Can I get a second by Supervisor Gray. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Anything else?
Only question I had, you started to say something about alcohol policy, but I'm not sure.
Remember we had come back and we said we would go back and revisit it, and I'll come back and tell you before we plan any more parties or anything out. So I'm back and saying that I took it back to the board. This is the new board, and they unanimously approved the way it was set up. So everything stays the way it was. So it is, if you do a private party, according to this board, it is still approved.
I'm trying to figure out, let's make this clear now. You say if you do a private party, what is approved?
Alcohol.
Oh, that ain't gonna work. That ain't gonna work.
When it was set up, when he said it's not gonna work, but when we went back, when we first set it up, it was set up with the 3 boards, from 3 members from the city, 3 members from the county, 3 members from the school board. And we adopted the YMCA rules with any necessary changes for Natchez. 2 years ago, we added the picnic area to it. At that time, that same board approved for private parties as long as they had $1 million of insurance. They had 2 deputies in uniform that was paid for by them, by the person, and 2 lifeguards on hand that they could have it, and it had to be in a certain area. And when we came to this meeting and all that broke out in the city, and I came to you and I said that board had approved it, and I said I would take it back to the new board. The new board unanimously approved it to stay the same. And their rationality was that you could go to the rodeo pen, you could go to the golf course, you could go to the safe room, you could go to the convention center, you can go to the community center, and all the way downtown they got an open cup policy. And they said, why handicap the pool? As long as it was up under the same regulations with the pool. So that board approved it, so.
Mr. President, let me ask you a question. Rodeo pen and downtown with cups and all that, those people not gonna be in a swimming pool swimming. So when you have a private party at the swimming pool, are they gonna be in the pool? Or are they just gonna be around the pool drinking?
We did 2, Mr. Gray, last year, and I requested, that board had to have Faye Minor that she had to be there, and then she requested I be there. We only had about 4 or 5 or 6 people in the pool at the time. Most of them just gathered around here. But our job was that anybody that got in the pool, that we had to have the lifeguards there watching them. And if they had any alcohol stuff, they had to come out. That's why we had the 2 deputies on guard at all times.
Well, I'm gonna be honest with you. As one supervisor, been swimming all my life, and been around the pool all my life, and I done talked to the lifeguards of the past, and I know we not living in the past, I know we living in the future, but swimming and drinking do not mix. Driving and drinking do not mix. And I don't care how many millions of dollars of life insurance these people have, at the end of the day, the liability fall on the city and the county.
Well,
that's who's gonna get sued.
Let me express you say you've been swimming all your life. I spent 8 years on active duty. I spent another 7 years on active reserve going to New Orleans once a month. Every party that we had was always in the pool or in the ocean. We never had anybody drown.
Well, I'm saying city and county pool. I'm not saying what you did when you was in New Orleans or whatever the case may be. I'm saying as long as I can remember, my daddy and Sam Carter ran Thompson swimming pool. They had all kind of parties. They had everything at the pool, but drinking was not allowed. And I just can't accept, me as one supervisor, I can't accept nobody drinking at a government pool with alcohol in their system getting in the water. That's a recipe for disaster to me. I'm gonna speak by what I say. And if that's the case, we need to make some changes.
Well, that's why, Mr. Attorney, what's your thoughts on alcohol at the county and city owned pool?
I mean, I would certainly ask your insurance carrier if that's something that they would approve and all that kind of stuff. I think it could create liability, obviously, if you're drinking or whatever. So, but
Mr. Attorney, let me ask you a question.
I don't want to second guess you.
Let me ask you a question. He quoted the YMCA rules and all this. We're not under YMCA no more. We've been got rid of the YMCA, so their rules went to YMCA, right? We don't have that.
Right.
Mr. Gray, the way I supported it is I was going back to how you saying the rules got set up at the pool. What I was telling you is when we sit down as a board, we adopted the YMCA rules with any necessary changes that we wanted at Natchez. When the Y left, it was 2 years later before we came to that agreement. That board, that same board sit down. It was 3 appointments by you, 3 appointments by the city, and 3 appointments by the city. And they came out with the other. It was a unanimous vote. And I just took that back last week, the first Tuesday of this month. I took it back to this new board. And I presented it to them. I didn't tell them what I wanted. I didn't give no preference at all. And at first, you got the minutes. You got I think Mr. Lewis got a copy of the minutes. And so you can go back and read the minutes. And it was unanimously approved. That's all I'm telling you.
I understand what you're saying, and I want this board to understand what I'm saying. Swimming and drinking do not mix. And that's a recipe for disaster. I'm just gonna tell you that.
Because what I'm gonna ask you something. I don't know if I heard it right or not, but cause I listened. But did you say, lifeguards and sheriffs?
We have.
And you cannot. Did you say you cannot swim when you're drinking?
We didn't say you cannot swim. We monitor. We have myself. We have monitor. We have the lifeguards monitoring the ones that get in the water if they got alcohol. If they have too much, thinking too much system, we cut them off and put them away from the area. But what we do is we watch the ones in the pool, and they can only go to a certain area, and they watch them and monitor. Anything happen, they have to leave, and that's part of the rules that we go over when they get there.
So those lifeguards are employees of the pool?
Right.
At a private party?
Right.
So that liability still falls back on the city?
Yes, well, we pay the lifeguards. Matter of fact, we pay them through us even the debitors that we have all through the pay come through us. They pay us and we pay them.
How old is the lifeguards?
All of them have to be 18 or above.
Can you check it?
At that time when we did it, we had an attorney on board. You know, she was the one that actually did the check, and I call her name, but until you all took over, we had an attorney that sit in on every one of our meetings. And anything that they done, we had her check first.
Good. Mr. Turner, can you check with our insurance on that?
You all have insurance through our insurance?
No,
or you have your own?
the private person have to get the insurance, they have to bring it to us. They have to have insurance.
But the lifeguard.
Covered by us.
Right.
I go to rodeos and I go, but he's rodeo, man. I just don't think nobody in their right mind gonna be Drake and Jack Daniel out there riding a horse. I just don't believe that, man. I mean, it could be possible, but whoever got a rodeo going on and they smell alcohol on somebody, I'm not thinking they just gonna let them get on a horse and just do whatever they wanna do on a horse. That's you saying you're looking at what you do at the rodeo, you're looking at what you do here. I'm done with it, I can see it, I gotta say it.
I guess where we're at, we're gonna have the attorney look into it.
Well, I'll just bring you back what the board brought to us, you know,
Yeah.
so, you know,
Yeah.
I'm anything else in the other course?
Nobody else has any question. Thank you, Mr. Wayne. Ms. Flowers, do you want to go ahead?
Yes, please. Good morning to everyone.
Good morning.
I'm a little hoarse this morning. Good morning. I'll be brief and to the point. My name is Stacy Flowers. I'm actually a worker at New Life Healthcare, or part of New Life Healthcare, which is new to the community. We are a mental health and behavioral health center. If you look on the back of the card, we do everything that's under the realm of mental health, behavioral health with adult children and older adults as well. We also deal with substance abuse and alcoholic abuse. I wanted to formally introduce myself to the supervisors because I will be coming back here personally. We've initiated several programs that we would like to introduce to Adams County, which we already have in effect in Warren County, Vicksburg, Mississippi. One of the programs is dealing with inmates, and before they come out, they have to do a 3 or 4 week contract with us to pretty much set them up mentally for, you know, coming out into the world. I'm not going to go into that, but those are just some of the things. We do a lot of community outreach into areas, impoverished areas, into low economic status neighborhoods on mental illness. We go out and talk about it. We inform people, educate people on what it is, where the resources are, that we're not the only resource in the area. So we do a ton of things, and here's a brochure as well. I thought I had a box in my car, but I don't. But as I mentioned, we do community outreach, support groups. We collaborate with a lot of different agencies. We are also contracted with the city of Vicksburg, working with the police department, fire department, and city employees so that they will have a direct person on hand, and that's just something to think about. As I mentioned earlier, we are located in Dr. Todd's building at this time. I only come there 2 days a week until, you know, the clientele is building up as we speak, because before the residents here were driving to Vicksburg. There is a great need here. It's not a whole lot of resources here. And I'm also letting you guys know in case anybody in the community, because I know the citizens always call the supervisors, well, can I, you know, do you know this person or that person, or can I get any help with mental health services? So this is just something you can let them know. We are just one of the resources here, located in the Dr. Todd's building. And as I mentioned, we offer mental health, behavioral health to all ages. And we are doing a lot of community outreach with our younger generation, our younger people, such as gun violence. We go out and talk about that because if you really think about it, things were already chaotic prior to COVID. Post-COVID, we're still dealing with a lot. As a matter of fact, COVID has complicated a lot of issues. Children dealing with how to handle depression. Suicidal rates have increased. It's just a whole lot of things that are going on mentally. And we teach our community that it's okay not to be okay, but we also teach them how to identify signs and symptoms of depression or anxiety, and that there is a source out there like ourselves, New Life Healthcare, that are willing to help. You know, if it's identified early on, we can take care of it before it actually becomes a problem. So that's just a little bit of who we are and where we're located. Does anybody have any questions?
Yeah, can y'all do any intakes for any commitment proceedings?
Yes, we do the ASAMs because you have to have ASAM criteria met. Are you familiar with what I'm talking about? The ASAM for placement. So we deal with child protective services. We deal with all of that. ASAM is just the criteria for placement. Are you familiar with that? Well, we do all of that, yes.
This is like the pre-screening?
Yes, ASAM is the pre-screening for placement, just to say, okay, we have this in black and white to see where this person is mentally, you know, before placement. Yes, we do. Yes. So we do, we're trying to do a ton of things. We're not, you know, Houdini. We're just trying to initiate a process that's going to help, because so many things are going on in the world right now. And we're also trying to contract with the school system dealing with the children, because they're starting at younger ages having mental issues and nobody's there to, you know, identify it or to help with it, and it compiles, and then when they're 15, they're a mass murderer. So if we teach the system how to identify, or if it's a child acting out and we're there, you know, maybe we can start the process of trying to find out what's going on. You know, it's so many things. It could be sexual assault, child abuse, anything. But if they're able, the teachers are able to identify along with us, because we're trying to do it collaborate as a whole. And like I said, we're just doing a lot of things out here. Enough is still not enough, if you know what I mean.
I'd just like to thank you, Ms. Flowers, for coming by.
Thank
and
you.
the service you're providing the community. And does anybody else have anything they'd like to say?
I was just saying, I appreciate you coming by, and we definitely will get the word out. This is a dire need service in this area.
Thank you so much. And I will be back, because like I said, we're trying to initiate some processes dealing with law enforcement, with the firemen, with the debriefing process. It's just, you know, so much. When it boils down, it all boils back down to your mental health. And that's very important in order for you to, you know, be able to make sound decisions.
Yes, ma'am. Well, we definitely appreciate your support. That's something that we have been looking at real seriously since we've been on board, and really close within the last year.
Mm-hmm.
And it is a dire need, and we appreciate you bringing the service to this area, and we hope you much success.
Thank you guys so much. And if you have any questions, you have a card.
Yes, President.
Okay.
I just want to say this, and maybe Scott can help me out on this. I know we, just like Supervisor Gaines say, this is something we've been looking into in the mental health issues. Also, Randy, you probably help out with also. Is there any way that we can partner with them with our mental health patients that goes to the jail, or the lunacy patients? Is there any way we can partner with them?
Yeah, so part of our discussions with the state mental health, one of their emphasis is having inmate mental health care and getting that accomplished. So, I mean, that's something that could be something that's there that they can help out, and also maybe funding to the state as well. They've actually asked us to submit a plan to for that kind of thing. There's a lot of grants out there for post-conviction mental health, but that doesn't do us any good. Most of our people that are in jail are pre-conviction or pre-trials, I should say. So, and that's our big deficiency when it comes to the jail. So.
Okay. Well, that was just something I was thinking about as she was speaking, and I was looking at a call with all the counseling that they do, and the sheriff had been talking about, you know, what are we gonna do with some of the people that's in the jail that are mental health, and maybe I was thinking that maybe if we partner with them, we can go through.
Well, we actually have a proposal. That's the reason I'm here, basically because we have already partnered with Vicksburg, Mississippi. We've been there, and what we found out to be is very effective. And so we do have a proposal for the inmates, and it's a program before they're released. Like, we determine when they're going to be released, of course, you know, with collaboration. And they start the program before they actually get out. And they partner with us, and we go through, we do the whole mental psych evaluation, and we find out where their mindset is. We also teach them how to cope with, like, you know, they get out of jail and everywhere they go, they can't find a job. Don't get depressed, just the coping skills, and just the whole mental thing, you know, just teaching them things that they actually don't know, how to deal with stress, how to deal with anxiety, you know, coping skills, like I said, the whole 9 yards. And it is an agreement, it's a contractual agreement with that client as well as, you know, the county itself. But it has been working, you know, and we don't lose contact. We also help place them on jobs that fit them, you know. It's no sense to me having somebody that's been locked up 30 years and you want to go into an environment that they're not used to. So you find out what that person likes to do, and you kind of place them in a situation where, you know, with their likes as well as, you know, their employment, if you will.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Yes.
Mr. President, Ms. Flowers, first of all, I just want to apologize for not getting you on the agenda. Our regular person is not in, and I apologize, but now that you're here and all the information that you brought to this board, like Supervisor Hudson said, is definitely needed in this community. And I'm gonna give you a perfect example. I'm driving up and down Union Street. This guy walking on the yellow line, stopping every car. He done been to the jail. He done been all kind of places. But he don't need to be in jail because he have a mental health problem. And we gotta find a way to help these individuals out. And maybe through something like this, we can start this process out. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yeah, we assist with placement. A lot of times they're not, you know, taking their medications, and that's if they having regular follow-ups and they're with a dependable family member or even on their own. You know, these are things that once we assess them, we find out and we collaborate with, you know, welfare or housing. You know, it's gonna take everybody, and that's the thing that we teach the most. That it's just not, we're not just a one-man show. You know, we try to collaborate in every resource that's needed. You know, we reach out to different people according to what the situation is. And it's not just us, we have licensed social workers on staff, we have behavioral specialists. Our staff consists of, you know, several clinicians. And we also network, you know, we've done it so much, you know, we network with, you know, welfare services, just whatever is needed, anything that we can do, even the uninsured. You know, we work with people who don't have insurance. We're not gonna go out there and say, well, if you don't have insurance, you don't have to pay. But as that person comes in, their, you know, plan is detailed according to their financial status. Of course, we accept all insurances, but, you know, we work closely with Medicaid because it shouldn't be a person out there uninsured with, you know, the type of insurance they have, the Obamacare and everything. So we're just linked into a lot of resources.
Thank you, ma'am. Appreciate you coming by.
Thank you so much, and everyone has a card if you guys feel the need. And please let the people, your citizens in the community know we're here. Thank you for allowing me to speak.
Thank you. Have a good day. Brad?
The state aid engineer has reviewed the bids for the Majorca Road project, and at this time I'd like to ask for a board order to award the project to G. Rayburn Contractors in the amount of $289,470.
You've heard the request, county engineer.
While we have a request of the county engineer, I make a motion that we award the Majorca Road project to G. Rayburn Construction.
Got a motion by Supervisor Gaines, second by Supervisor Gray. Any discussion? All in favor? I do have discussion. What's the time frame on this job?
I think it's 60 days
To start or complete?
to complete.
And start date when?
Start date, we award it and we'll have a pre-con, and whenever we can set, get with the contractor and set a notice to proceed, which he'll have to get all his bonds and everything in order. Usually that takes 2 to 3 weeks. So
you're
conservatively saying 90 days from today, they'll be complete.
Okay. All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. Thank you, Brent.
All right, and the other, I really don't have anything else other than updates on Group 2 EWPs and the Group 3 EWPs. We're pushing about 50% on Group 2. They're finishing up on Cemetery Road, and then they're going to Highway 84. The 2 projects there. And Group 3, they're working at Deerfield. They've completed Kutsu Lane and Old Meadow Road. And then they'll have Providence Road to go after that.
Do you all think you all gonna meet the deadline of this
Yes.
project?
Yes, and you're talking about the contractor's deadline?
Right.
Yes, I mean, it's the group 3, they're gonna be close, camo with group 2 should meet they shouldn't have a problem meeting their deadline on that. Now, that is not the NRCS. The NRCS deadline, September 25th on group 2, and they'll finish the project. The contract time is before that deadline with NRCS, and then the other is the same way, with group 3.
I'm not cutting off. What was, maybe I can look back through, did we have an August deadline on something from NRCS?
Do we have a what?
August,
Yes.
like
that's
August
on-
25th or August?
That's on South Palestine, which they started today. That's out of their hands. That's IMS, but that will be completed. That's what I just stepped out to speak with, Mr. Ford just called me and, they gotta add 30 foot of pipe. He wanted me to need approval. I said, no, we got to do that.
You say it will be completed?
Yeah, that's for all, they start now, they'll be doing that.
Yeah, and the only other thing I had, Brent for you was to give me an update on State Park Road.
Okay, I think Jim had sent in the monthly update
He
last
did a
week.
monthly update,
Yes.
but, on working days and stuff like that, but I just want to hit, where y'all at, is the project steady moving, how it's
Steady moving,
going, where we at?
They're putting granular material down on the project right now. That's gonna be the road bed or the base on the road bed there, and they're working there. I can't remember the percentages on complete and compared to the money spent in the project.
Okay, I just wanted, do you have an anticipated completion date?
I do not. It will be around, I do not.
I noticed he's got an inspection this week. He's gone though. ain't he?
He's still in the back there, but I don't think he will look at the state. He said he was coming by next week. Next week,
Last
he'll
week,
look
we had that meeting on Burt Road Bridge, and the
Yes.
city would be this week coming in to do an inspection himself on State Park.
Yes.
So he might, I don't know.
Yeah,
He
okay.
better do it last week.
I don't know if you was gonna ask a question or not with the Oak Ridge, you was out. Was you gonna take care of that? Or?
Yeah, I've got a couple things on there.
Okay. I yield for the president.
Any update or any decisions yet on Robbins Lake plan?
No, I do not have an update on that. I will have to talk to Hayden and I'll let you know on the update on that. I did not. I don't have an update.
What we'd like to do is go ahead and tell Eddie to go ahead and fix it so we can get it done with.
Maybe I'll talk to Hayden and I'll let you, send you an email.
And that's what I say, it's not out of our hands, but it is out of our hands with their foot bill. That's the reason I asked that question at that board meeting where they said on use it.
Just need a pass.
And I don't know if it's kind of,
Yeah, you know what he gives to do the project.
Yeah, 175. We just need a path to get that done within the time period.
October 30th.
I got a few questions for you. Camo just sent me a text. I don't know if he sent you the same text. He said, ask have the box has been approved for the Highway 84 sites.
I did approve a submittal on that, and they're asking me now about a manhole lid on one of those that.
That was just one of his questions. Then the next question says, what is the plans of handling the water that runs off the field on Cemetery Road? Which I do need, he looked at it.
Yeah.
He's asking that question. He sent me a text while we were in this meeting.
Well, they need to, I updated him on what he needed to go do. He needs
So
to.
you've already spoke with him since he.
I spoke to the guys on the ground out there. I have not directly spoke to Mike on
He
that.
sent me this at 10 o'clock, 9:56 this morning.
Mhm.
Okay. My other question is, 72 Oak Ridge, you got an update on that, where we at?
We're working on that right now, working on the design for that.
So do you think we'll hit that deadline?
Yeah, well, I mean, we should have everything.
Y'all should have it done, we should have it lit, should have it bid or whatever, they should get the project
Yeah,
completed.
there's enough
within
time in
the
there
time they
that
ought to be in.
we should have all that. Could I get this signed? If I get this board order signed for state aid, he can take it with him, or Chris Dixon. That's what we just, yeah, majority. Yes, I'm done, unless there's questions. If she can y'all sign that, and can you give me a book number on it? I don't need a page right now, but if I can get a book number on it.
All right, we're gonna come to the, Judge Audrey Miners on the agenda. But I don't guess she's present, so we'll move, to the table. Supervisor Gray.
Yes, sir, Mr. President. Got an update on Morgantown. I got a text from our director of the Black Cotton saying that Dr. Trina George with USDA is planning on coming to Natchez in Adams County. And I don't know if the date, but they told me, he asked me to get with the county administrator and maybe get with the mayor.
It's email, August 10th, yeah.
August 10th.
August the 10th.
Yeah.
And get with the mayor where we can set up a meeting where we can drive around Adams County. But I looked on the website, the USDA website, and one of the things I saw was public safety. And my question, if I don't be here, do they fund jails? I don't know, do they fund jails or not, but we need to get a plan and some things together that we can pretty much ask her, or whatever the case may be, because I don't know if I'm gonna be here August the 10th, because I'm supposed to be out of town. And I know the city gonna have some things, and it's gonna be a lot of riding around, but she done did this before when she was the director a while back. So she's the director again and wanna come back to Adams County. Got an update on COVID. I talked to one of my constituents, and I don't know if it's me, and it may be the process that travelers do business, but it's a lot of people that's upset with travelers and the way they do business, and anything happen, they found a way not to pay it. I think that's a problem. And little knick-knack stuff that's going on, seem like that they're responsible for. They need to have a better way of dealing with it than to find a way not to deal with it. That's all I'm saying. Because I'm gonna recommend that we look at going in another direction when the time comes. I mentioned the mental health problem. Do we have any idea when we're gonna think about doing a town hall meeting to deal with? Well, my first question is, did we get our money? ARP money?
We haven't got the second phase.
Not yet.
I'm checking every.
So when are we gonna set up a meeting where we can have a discussion where we can start spending some of this money? Because I hate to be the only county in the state of Mississippi to give it back.
Giving it back. So last time, Supervisor, I think last time you said that you want to do it during budget time and let them come in during budget time and.
We need to set it up.
Let them come in during budget time and discuss some of the things that they may want to see happen.
Everybody agree with that?
During budget time.
Okay. Well, last thing, my sympathy goes out to the Johnson family, the Granger family, the Davis family, the Smith family, the Stewart family, the Bernard family, and the Lewis family. And I know y'all aware what's going on down there in, what department that is?
County.
We got a lot of people out, so they putting a lot of pressure on the administrator. Thank God she well-rounded and can do a lot of different jobs. She multitask down there because when you got 1, 2, 3 people out of the office, it's kind of hard. And then she don't have gray hair.
I do. I've only had two.
She didn't last week.
I've only had 2 people who had stressed me out during this process. And one of them is the county attorney. and the other one is the purchasing clerk. Because those two, they good at what they do. But they didn't want to accept the fact that it's only 24 hours in a day.
I need my stuff booted to the line.
And the last deal is, I did receive, Mr. President, did you get that package with my name on it out there? Final updates on the ARP funding. Well, I'm gonna go get it, and they're gonna conclude my report.
Hey, Mr. Gray, if she, I don't know how long it's gonna be with the people out and whatnot. I mean, if she needs additional, bring somebody in or something like that, is that okay with the board?
You do. We need to make them up.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let her request what she wants. I'm not gonna do it for her.
Yeah.
That's right.
If she know what she need, I don't.
Well, I did a lot of work this weekend, so I'm good.
How long is Janae gonna, how long is both of them gonna be out?
Clem will probably be back this week.
Next week?
As
So
far
she's gonna be out the whole
as
week?
Janae, as far as Janae, I'm not sure.
And she's been out, and so it's kind
She's
of,
been out
it's a snowball effect.
She's been out 3 weeks already. And the baby.
I'm not telling her to do it or not do it, I'm saying if she needs
I
it.
need.
Yeah, and that's what I said,
But
she
you do
needs
need
that.
it.
Well, we're gonna let her say when she needs her help.
Well, I'm gonna let her say it, not for cutting you off, and not for being smart. But what I'm saying is this right here, she can do it. And but, as supervisor, that's just what I think. It's our responsibility. Now, if Angie catch COVID right now, God forbid, if Angie gets sick, where will we leave the county at?
Oh, shit.
You know what I'm saying? That's just the question. Where will we leave the county? I mean, I'm not making decisions for her, but as a supervisor, and not saying she can't do her job, but with doing, she had to, with putting 3 more jobs on, where would it leave the county if something happens to her and doing it now? So it's your decision, and I wasn't being smart. I don't want you to think I'm being smart at all. I'm just saying, as a liability of the county, I just think about that.
Mr. Gray, does that conclude your report?
I'm not gonna even make no report on this audit, paper that I received this morning, but, it's very, very important that, we get this situation resolved and that we can, get our up-to-date audit. Thank you. That concludes my report.
Supervisor Hutchins, Judge Minor just walked in.
Okay, go ahead, take care of her.
And Ricky, this is not delaying that's why he's putting the pedal to the metal. He's not gonna let any official hold up our audit.
Judge Minor.
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
I have some issues that's going on at Justice Court, and I think they should go into executive session.
Scott.
Okay, we'll have an item for
Item
closed
to
determination before we can go.
Okay.
Do you want to just sit and wait, or do you want?
Yeah.
Okay.
You want me to sit here or over here?
You can sit wherever you want to.
Okay, all right.
All right, Supervisor Hutchins.
Okay, I have just a couple of things. One, I need Scott to do a letter for Menace properties, abandoned vehicles. And that's
Where, the cars are parked on the property or they parked on the street?
on the property.
Okay. Just as an FYI reminder, if there's a car on the street, it's a little bit different process,
Right.
it's a little bit
Right.
faster.
We go through the sheriff department if it's on the street.
Yeah, it's a
They come
3-day
out.
notice and you can
Yeah.
get rid of it, yeah.
Right. And the address is 212 Greenfield Road.
What's that? I'm sorry?
212 Greenfield Road. Just been getting a couple complaints about that. So
Yes, ma'am. We'll send a notice out to them asking them to abate it and contact us. And the next meeting, if they haven't contacted us, then we'll put it down for a hearing.
Okay,
And
so-
usually after you do that, that's when they come in and clean it.
Another thing is, the only other thing I have is the 100 African American women. They want the board to partner with them. They are going to have a back to school bash, and I think that's on August the 6th. And I just wanted the board to see if we can do that, get Scott to see if we can partner with them to do a back to school bash.
I'll take a look at what the event that they're proposing doing and see if there's any of those exceptions to donation statutes that we can do. Report back to the board.
And that's all I have.
Supervisor Wood.
Well, hello. Walked in just in time to do a report, I guess. My condolences, and I don't know if anybody else has talked about this, they're burying Emil Get On right now from Church Hill. Close friend, great family, and my apologies go out to them. It was a celebration of life out there last night. I bet you 1,000 people came through, but it was really, touching. But
What is he to the doctor?
Emil Get On, that's Frank's dad.
Okay. Sorry to hear that. I didn't know.
Yeah. It happened kind of sudden. He lay down and take a nap, and he never woke up. And but that's a great way to go out, I guess. Robbie, I've had several people call, and I know everybody else has experienced this. When you turn into Rue, coming off 61, and I don't know where our responsibilities lie, but people are going across there, and you can't even see where Fire Tower Road is, basically, and it's just like, they have so many wrecks out there. I don't know if we can stripe that better, if that's NDOT's problem, or what we can do out there to make that intersection just a little bit safer out there.
It'll be MDOT off the highway, but I will get with MDOT, and like I said, it's MDOT once you get off,
I don't think there's any striping on Fire Tower Road right there to where we need to have it, just to give somebody some kind of reference point where they should be and where they shouldn't be. I've had several people call and say, I almost got a bad wreck. There's a lot of skid marks there all the time.
I almost got hit, because you coming in and you turn and they coming around and it's bad.
I don't know if MDOT needs to put a flashing light kind of on the side or something, just try to keep people in check. And that concludes my
coming off of Fire Tower.
Coming off Fire Tower.
There.
There's just something needs to slow some traffic down
We
right
put
there.
that stop ahead there on Kingston Road,
Right.
that flashing light, and it works real well, but like I said, I'd have to get with MDOT to see.
Yeah, most people, it's the crossing over to turn into Rue, and you got 70 feet of pavement there with no striping on it to show anybody where the lanes are, or where they should be, or the turn lane or
Well,
something.
and they're coming around that corner blind too.
Yeah.
They're coming around, they're cooking.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe some rumble strips there might
Guilty
be.
as charged.
Maybe some rumble strips might be an option, Robert.
Yeah, write it down.
Okay, that's all I had, and I appreciate y'all.
Supervisor Gaines.
All right, mine kind of short, but I just kind of want to piggyback. I go back to something that Supervisor Gray was talking about, something to put on out the rest of the board. Mine coming in the budgetary season. People who are going into leadership position. Leadership position, I think that these people in leadership position need some training on how to be leaders. And I think that generally, you got a lot of people who intend to be good leaders, but when you're not getting it together, I think it slows down productivity, and it's not talking about one department, all around the county. And I think that's something that we should look at. If you move folks up in positions, that we should look at them. And I also think that the administrator, I'm trying to see if I'm right. Not adding too much else to you. But I know it'll be human resources when the human resource come back. I think a memo should be sent to a lot of folks, I mean, not one person, everybody, on covenant handbook rules. I think a lot of people need to know their position and what they should be doing and what they shouldn't be doing. I think a lot of people also should be from the top of our leadership chain down to the last employee. I think exit interview should be talked about, and I think the grievance policy should be talked about. And all of these things, and that way, that I think if the board had a better idea of what's going on, and we can also assist people, and we can also have a little better productivity. And last but not least, you know, COVID is rising, we've been through it, and I would just recommend, by now, everybody know what you should be doing to be safe, because I mean, information has been out there, get large gatherings, and you know, everybody make their own decision on if they want to wear masks, if they don't want to wear masks, if you want to take vitamins, if you don't want to take vitamins. But I do recommend people just refocus and just understand COVID is not gone. It's still here. I yield the floor, Mr. President.
Can I speak?
Yes, you can. No, I'm sorry. I'm Vice President, not Mr. President. Good night.
Go ahead.
When we speak on leadership, okay, we have some people that's just, you know, I did a paper one time on leaders. You have to be a born leader. That means all the training in the world, some people just not gonna change. It's just that simple. And the problem with the county is that we have a few people, and it's not a whole bunch, but a few people who I just have a clique. And when new people come in, they taunt their minds from the door. I don't know no other way to put it but that. It's just that they come in and they get in their heads when they come in. And it's nothing you can say or do because they believe in it. They are still here. And most of the time the new people are gone because they're gonna be cordial and polite, and the new people wants to be the spokesperson on what was being told to them from the door. That's what the problem is. Now, the last couple of people I've hired, I guess they came from an environment that they believe in following rules and working. And they are not taunted by those few people who get together in a group and speak bad. So, it's a problem. And it's a cycle. Repeated cycle.
It's not in my department, it's in a lot of departments. I have it in my department, I'll tell you, we'll talk about it. I have it in my department.
Right.
You put somebody in a foreman position, you got some older guys that's been there, they don't want that position, but they wanna cause all the problems. Then you write them up and you do, then they go talk, and then they go here, then they go there, then it's back, and then they, oh, I'm not doing my job, or I'm doing, you know, this and that, you know. They don't know what I do. I mean, my plate is full up to here, just like yours is.
Right.
You know, the foremen try to do, you send them the handbooks, they sign the handbooks, they won't call in. This morning, I had a foreman tell me this morning, I ain't had it 7:40. He ain't called in, ain't come in. I said, put the paper on. I said, we just went through this last week. I just had meetings with them. And then you start doing that, then they want to call people. And then there again, oh, we've been here, we this, we that. But that you've been here and this is not getting productivity done.
Correct.
You know, so if you stay on them hard enough, then we're at fault because we ride them too hard. Am I right or wrong?
You are correct.
Now, I just want to bring it out and let it know that this has been brought up and it needs to be talked about, and we're gonna talk about it. I have the same problem in my department, and if I ride them too hard, I'm the one wrong. They're not wrong. They got more rights than I do.
They do.
Just put it out.
Well, excuse me. I had the same problem last week. Someone come to me, all upset, screaming about one of their employees. I said, you can't come to me. I said, you came to me, but you gotta do your job. He's your employee, you do your job. And you know, they say the same thing, well, when I tried to do something, they want to run and tell other people. So I try to get out of there. Don't come to me. You do what you got to do, and you're his boss. You handle that. Now, I hate running into that. Now, I try to mention it sometimes, but they got to do what they got to do. I'm not his boss.
You saying that, but then you get 2 or 3 of those that's been there, and those 2 or 3 will gang up on the foreman or me or whoever. It don't bother me, like I said, like I tell them, this is what it's gonna be, and it is, and then, you know, they pick you or pick me, it doesn't matter to me, whatever it is, but I'm just saying, that's what happens. It's old, we are still changing, and we are growing, and we don't have many of the old ones left, what few we have left. And I'm gonna leave it at that and stay off of it, but I think everybody sitting at this board knows it is a problem, you know.
So I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna say something. So I'm gonna address all of it. I'm gonna address everything that everybody just said. Cause we know everybody kind of understand where it's at. Maybe the mask on got me where ain't nobody understanding what I just asked y'all, what I brought about. What I ask is for folks to do their job. Just in case don't nobody understand, this county has been running. The county has rules and regulations that need to be run by. It's not, if you can run by rules and regulations and run it fair and run the rules work. The county has not been in existence this long for no reason. But where it cross lines is when folks come to Angela and say do their job. I know what some of the things what Robert kind of was talking about, because I know some of the things been out here and why I brought it to the public, because the rumor has been, well, I'm not gonna say it was a rumor, but I can always say it on TV was a lie. That some employees was coming and tell me, and I heard that my name had been being called, and I could see, as a matter of fact, since we're talking about it, I know I talked to Robert the other day, and I could kind of tell what he said to me that was not quite straight, and you know what I'm saying? I didn't like it because he said, he said, well, some things going on, you gonna hear, and I don't care. And not that, and I understood it was something going on for me to be his boss and he say that. But I understood down the line, having to learn behind what was there. So that's why I said, it's not fun pointing at Robert, it's not pointing at Andy. If you will follow your handbook and write those grievances, if you follow them handbooks and those people do wrong and write them up, bring them to the board, and that'll keep me out of it, that'll keep you out of it. That I'm trying to talk about being fair, so I want to eliminate the rumor about who doing this. I'm telling you, if somebody got a problem, who it is, you bring them to the board. You put your paperwork on. It don't matter about how much pressure on you. I don't think anybody on this board will fire somebody for doing their job. But when you not doing your job, then that leaves, and the other thing about it, if nobody gets fired, this is the world we live in today. We got rules and regulations. And I can promise you, when you start getting rumors, it is gonna be somebody, you're gonna make a mistake and do some discrimination, and it's somebody gonna be smart enough to get the EEOC involved. It's gonna be somebody smart enough that we work in the county with stuff going on. So before we get into those liabilities, all the thing I'm asking, I wasn't saying anything to anybody. I'm just asking folks to follow the rules. You can't get mad, just like he said he got an employee, he wrote a fella up. Who at the board gonna get mad for writing him up for doing his job? Do your job and a whole lot of the rest of it'll be fine. I yield the floor.
Hey, let me say this. And I saw this the other day, I'm just gonna read it. Society has become so fake that the truth actually bothers people.
There you go. Couldn't just say it does.
That's it.
Mr. Howard just walked in. You want to go ahead and go before we move them?
Good morning. Members of the board, of the meeting. Things at the port are well. We're busy, which is always a good thing. The commission expressed their wishes to extend you all an invitation to visit the port and the commissioners, take a look around, see what's going on, what's in the visualization at your scheduling. And I told them I would express the invitation. I know there's some restrictions regarding the number of you all that can meet at any given place. And if for some reason you would do a recess and reconvene out there, it wouldn't bother us at all. There has been a volunteer transportation, if needed, pick you up and bring you out and then bring you back. So whenever you wish, let me know.
Yes, sir.
If you notice it, then y'all all can go. You know, you just have to notice it and the process will be available, so.
Well, my thing is that August the 10th, with Trina's gonna be down. That is gonna be one of the places to visit anyway, August the 10th. So you'll be included in that too, Mr. Howard. They just haven't got with you at this time, but on August the 10th, the USDA will be down, and we'll be visiting that site.
Okay. We would also acknowledge the scheduling of the lobbyists, some senators, and Representative Thompson has booked a date, August 17th, which is a Wednesday. Not sure if you are abreast of that date.
To do what?
I'm not sure if you are aware of that date.
I was going to talk about it, Mark.
Yeah.
Okay, I apologize.
No, you're good.
But they've already booked August 17th for a visitation at the port as well. The other item that we would submit to you all today is that we are nearing the completion of the first phase of the liquid loading dock, as well as nearing the completion and depletion of those funds received for that phase. We would submit a request that if you have any funding that you could appropriate toward the cause of the dock to keep the project moving until the next round of funding be applied for and or received, we would keep this project moving. And we appreciate those considerations. The other question I have for members of the board and Scott, to this date, there has not been any sale or conveyance of railroad property owned by the county with the port conjunction to the railroad, correct?
Right.
Okay. As we alluded to earlier in earlier meetings, we have a lot of help coming from a lot of places, and one of those places is actually the railroad. And so I have had my feel of the railroad telling me what I need to do, occupying our tracks without notice until after the fact, and still whining and complaining, and I don't know if they think they're threatening me by saying something about the FRA, which I am with the FRA, and I am following protocol and procedures and requests from the FRA. But I'm up to my chin with the railroad telling me what I need to do. So I just want to make sure before I tell the railroad what they can do, you guys haven't did anything, that would prevent me from getting the railroad off of my.
Certainly haven't done anything that would commit your track.
Right.
Their service in Delta was it Energy and Natchez. So they're servicing that group at the moment.
Well, the whole ball game is they use our tracks. There's no compensation for it, but they tell us what we need to do when we need to do it. And they're saying, if not, FRA is going to get involved. Well, they don't know if FRA is already involved and that our standards are higher than FRA standards. And we're not crazy. We know about maintaining tracks. But the annoying telephone calls and emails and their, as they call it, embargoing rail cars that belong to the clients, I think it's a little challenge. We are currently proceeding to replace railroad signage that is just part of the inspection process. And as far as we know, we've done all except the signage per instructions and visitation with FRA. There's always track maintenance, and we're doing that on the tracks that we're using. So just want to make sure you hadn't done anything that I would cross the line when I say, back off.
Mr. President,
Yes, sir.
I don't know, since I've been on this board, it seems like it's been an ongoing thing with this railroad deal. And it seems like to me that it's a lot of disrespect going on when it comes to the railroad and the port. And maybe we need to get them all together in the same room and let everybody know what their responsibilities are, because people all over the place, people stepping on people's toes, people doing whatever the case may be, and sometimes you go out there and do things and you think you got the board of supervisor support. I mean, I'm not gonna support nobody when they're doing wrong. So if we get all these people at the table and everybody needs to know what their responsibilities are and don't go over what your responsibilities say you can do unless you get approval, then I think we can eliminate some of this, whatever's going on with the port and railroad. Thank you, Mr. President.
Yes, sir.
The only other request I have is that if, Robbie, you've gotten to the point where you got some operators, those of dirt.
We on the river and headed, well, matter of fact, moved down to Jackson Point this morning, so it'll be about 2 more weeks and we should be caught up on the big, part of those and track of it.
Right. And historically, we do the levee maintenance work when the river's down. And the river is down now, and Rob is familiar with it. We bring the dozers and some dirt down there, and that gets the Corps of Engineers pacified because they pull inspections of levee maintenance as well. And that part of the levee maintenance, the port doesn't have any equipment, any dozers or dirt or anything in. Historically, the county has come down and do that work for us. And so whenever the river is rising again today, but
yeah,
we got a good ways to go before it impedes any process on the levee work. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir.
I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Do you have a check for me?
No, ma'am. The last,
Every time you come, you always.
I know, last time I was here, the last time I was here, we
When you
were,
pulled his pen out, I thought he was about to.
You can write, we'll take a second.
I don't have a check today.
Not today.
Not today. I think we agreed that if there was a need for some funding, instead of swapping funds, giving it to you and then coming back and asking you for it, that we would just kind of hold it in suspense.
Okay.
But October is coming,
Okay.
And of course, that's an obligation, and the commissions are looking at some additional contributions as we speak. We just want to make sure we don't give you some money and then come back and ask you for it, such as I did this morning, as far as the liquid load dock is concerned. We did not receive any funding through state applications. We have already initiated an application process to the federal government, and we will be reapplying again to the state for some funding in the next go round. Mr. President, that's all.
Thank you, Mr. Howard. Back to you.
Okay. I'm going to, we drafted a quick draft for a policy regarding the reporting of criminal activity during your employment. We can make it a little bit more broader to include any and all criminal activity. We can make it narrow to specific type of conduct, but this is basically the law is any citizen can report a crime, and they have a privilege when they do that. So it means you're immune from suit, but you have to be a passive participant in the suit. You allow the law enforcement to do their job. If you become more active in that suit, then or in that investigation, then you can open yourself up to liability. When I mean active is, so for instance, we report something and Billy Neely comes in and, interviews us, then we're okay answering his questions and so forth. If he says we want you to participate in a lineup, we're okay in participating with the lineup. He prepares a warrant for arrest, we're okay signing that warrant. So as long as you're following, the law enforcement, then the county is got a privilege to do that. So that's what this policy kind of suggests is if you have, at the moment, I'm not going to make it more broader to all criminal activity. At the moment, I had reasonable grounds that public funds, are in jeopardy. We contact the sheriff or the police department, and then give a copy to the county administrator or chancery clerk, just so we all believe what it is. And then it requires our employees to promptly comply with the investigation and prosecution of the matter. And you allow them, the law enforcement and judicial system, the autonomy throughout the process and that kind of thing. So it's something that if y'all give me direction, make it better, worse, or whatever, we certainly can.
What you're saying, you have given the board, I ain't quite understand. So you're saying you writing a policy giving the board authority to press charges or something like that? Charges after somebody been in? The law enforcement gonna take over.
This is a policy that requires, under certain circumstances, for employees to report an offense, a criminal offense, and then it requires them to comply with law enforcement with the investigation process. And it does not, they don't try to direct law enforcement any kind of way. They allow law enforcement and the judicial system the autonomy of doing the investigation and the prosecution and so forth.
So, in other words, you saying this is a policy that employees see something that they tell the sheriff department about something going on, so you make that trying to want to adopt a policy so that if the employee sees something going on, he can report direct to the sheriff department
or the police department
or the police department,
and then kind of give a notice to county administrator or the chancery clerk. You give them options in case could be a conflict of interest with this.
President Middleton, got a question. Why would they report to the police department? This is the county. So why would they report to the police department?
Well, in case it was Billy Neely that stole the $20, they may feel more comfortable reporting it to the Natchez Police Department.
Yeah, 'cause you can't really investigate yourself.
Okay.
Just like if they saw Angie's the one that took the money, you wouldn't report to Angie, I caught you. it gives you another option just in case.
Okay, okay. I was just wondering why this one here, this,
Sure.
Yeah.
police department.
To me, we trying to get a check and balance system and let people know that, we do have, rules in place that we got to follow, and if you go outside of what the policies say, then you're gonna have to be dealt with. If the policies say you go 1, 2, 3, 4, that's the way you go. You don't go 1, then go down to 3, skip 2, and go to 5. That's what you're saying. So if we got a policy in place saying, if something happens, this is the way we want it done. Just like us. If we got a problem with somebody in a department, they can't come to us. They gotta go through the proper channels. They gotta go through their supervisor, then they gotta go to human resource, county administrator, then they come to us. They just don't come to us. That's what you're saying, right?
That's right, you have this is what your job, course and scope of your duties are to do this. Now there's certain protections every citizen has, even if they're working for us. So it's not an automatic, if you go and do something outside of what we told you to do that you can get punished for it, because it's a case by case situation. They may have certain protections where they're protected from the First Amendment or whatever. But this is what's required from their duties. You're required to report it, and you're required to basically comply with law enforcement and the court.
You want us to adopt this?
I'm asking for your, input into it. At the moment, this is just required. This is just for reports of basically stolen
Let me
county money.
digest this and come back to
We're
the
not
next
gonna
meeting.
take it.
Yeah. Y'all need to review it before.
We can do it short. I need to digest.
Yeah, I agree.
That needs to be looked at when we adopt
Something like
it.
this.
And look at whether you want to be more inclusive,
Yeah.
more other crimes or whatever. It certainly can be within. No, I didn't expect you to.
I got another question on this also. Mr. Neely,
Yes.
because I know there's been a situation like that before where there was something with the sheriff department and they didn't investigate their own person. But didn't you all go through the Mississippi Bureau of
We do,
Investigation?
yeah, we do.
See, that's what- They need to go through the Bureau, Mississippi Bureau of Investigation for their, when it's one of their own, instead of the police department.
That's right.
Yeah, the reason,
That could be.
if someone feels
too.
uncomfortable reporting
Right.
to the sheriff's office, that'd still be their single point of contact. So you give them that option.
Well, people, my opinion, if it's an employee of law enforcement with the connections they have with each other, I really don't believe they need to be investigating each other.
That's what
Just
I
like
said.
Supervisor Ludwig say, if there's a officer in Adams County, then maybe they need to go through another agency and not to the agency right across the street. Because it sometimes, I don't work with this person, we done did this together, we done did that together, now I got to investigate the same person, we cool. You might not get what you want, so when you're dealing with law enforcement, getting investigated, I think you need to go outside Adams County.
I think so.
But I it's checks and I don't really know. I need to get a better understanding, I'll be honest with you, because it's checks and balances already that's in place, just like if something happened in the jail, MBN gonna do it. You know what I'm saying? If something happens somewhere else, you got different areas that's already in place, and then, so I just need to do a little more looking at this, and we could sit down, because I need a little better explanation, because to see exactly what you're trying to do.
So we're just gonna digest this,
Yeah.
and then we'll get back.
We can definitely change it to MBI for sure.
Yeah, I'm not,
That's what
I
I
don't
was
know,
gonna
put it at the
say.
board. So much
MBI.
stuff you put at the board, and the board have a lot, that's just one of them things that, me personally, I feel like we really, it's a thin line. Because you're elected official. This is a thin line for you to start getting the stuff or getting the liability of these things when you are not saying that it shouldn't be checked when you already have people in places. It's no different than anything else. Like I said earlier, it's not that the system is broken, it's just the system ain't being followed. That's all the thing I'm saying. So I just want, I will speak for me. Let me look at it a little more.
Yeah, y'all definitely need to look at it, because it already asked questions.
Well, it's nothing, it's a policy change, so we are the policy makers, so if the policy don't get changed, we got to be the ones to change it. It's just a recommendation, and we gonna look at it and figure out, do it need to be a new policy?
Yeah, I don't think I've ever brought a policy, maybe if it was required by federal law, just cut and paste, without y'all saying, having input, because like you said, you already brought up a really good, I should say, suggestions of different agencies. So.
Yeah, while we on this subject, with the time clock, we need that policy to be drawn up too, so we make sure that people are following the rules when they're dealing with the time clock. So we need that policy where we can adopt that policy, because to me, until we adopt a policy, then we just got time clock.
That's correct.
And no policy.
And we got a draft policy together. What I'd like to have seen is having kind of a month of checking in or whatever. We can look like whether we need to massage it or whatever, and then adopt it there. So, and again, a lot of it's once we get an HR person in and Angie gets some additional help, we can sit back down and do it. But we want to, and I've told that to many employees if they have questions, say, look, we want to make sure it works for everything. You know, right now you'd be clocking in and out, and let's see how it's worked. But that's.
What do you mean employees questioning? Everywhere I go, everywhere you work, you got a time clock, you got to hit.
Well, I've also said that too. Every job I've had a clock in and out.
But my thing is, why would an employee question it? I mean,
they're not questioning, they're saying, what about this, what about that? And I've said, look,
they give you some better ideas.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. Is they've said, here's what I get a call in the middle of the night, and I got to go to this, that. So we got to start making sure that we include things like that.
Right.
You're right. Because I looked at, I paid some bills this last week, and I saw it in an employee who bought a laptop, $799, and I'm trying to figure out why. Because you're not gonna work from home, so why?
Okay.
Especially when your position doesn't require. We have some
So
positions.
who approved it?
I didn't. I saw the bill.
That's why I got all these stacks of documents. I'll be trying my best to look. I'm dealing with this something, Kevin, so you got to help me out.
But I am gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna leave it on. I try to stop saying it. See, this is where a whole lot of the problem is. We know things go on. You know what I'm saying? Just like people say things, people do things. But if you gotta put them up front and confront them, because like they say, it's cliques going on. Like Robert says, people who call people, Adam said people who call people. But guess what? If you keep turning your head, how you think it's gonna change? We'll bring it up and we'll talk about it, but following these rules, I promise you, it'll make everybody else's job easier and it'll clear everybody else. You wouldn't have, not just saying it from you, I'd have heard several things come up, but when I heard you say click, I heard you say this, and not saying that you're not right. It's clicks everywhere, and it's not just us, because honestly, I would say this on camera. We had not had a perfect board, but I really feel like we had a good board. I feel like everybody, we have worked together honestly, and people at this board, we all got nobody perfect, I put it like this, my 80-20 rule, but I think we work together for the betterment of Adams County. And I think if we bring things together, I think we can make a decision as a board to help things go about without having to have a blow up. If rules was in place and they was being enforced correctly and fairly, a whole lot of this stuff will go away.
And I'm working on the list, and I'm just gonna be honest with you, I haven't confronted anybody, because I just want to confront everybody at the same time, so that everybody can get mad at the same time, and everybody can cool off at the same time, so it won't be an ongoing.
But these are the things, if you confront it and they don't cool off, this is where you put it in the hands of the board. This is where you bring to the public that we are public people. This is where we handle these things, go in executive session or in the public, and I think everybody can handle it. That's just where lanes are.
Let me ask you this question too. You say you saw that on the docket about somebody purchased a laptop. I thought we was on a purchase freeze.
I did too.
So why are things being purchased?
I don't know. Something that I just found, I did pay these bills this weekend.
Okay.
So, that's a lot for, first of all, to me, for a laptop. And then we have laptops already from the COVID, when we bought those
Right,
laptops.
so why couldn't it get?
Yeah, we went and bought every single one of them in the
Right.
store.
Any purchase like that should be going through the IT anyway.
Right.
We have, IT have laptops.
That's what I'm saying. So they should know, right. And if it's
I
needed,
know what's happening, they look at it, it's at the end of the budget year, they
Yeah,
got
they're
some
trying
money in
to
their
use their
budget,
money.
and they're gonna use it.
But
So
we
let's
could, we
get
had
to
a budget freeze out there,
Correct.
and that shouldn't be happening.
No, it shouldn't.
go ahead, Scott.
In doing our audit, there was a couple of things we needed to get added to the minutes that the auditor couldn't get his hands on. One of them was delegating the authority, duties, and responsibilities of the county administrator. What other counties have done is use the statute that lays them out, and they adopt those duties. I'm going to pass around the statutes so y'all can review them. The only duty that is not applicable under the statute that I found was there's a portion about airports. We have a commission that handles the airport. So if y'all are okay with the list, then we need to get it spread across our minutes, their duties. And it's also the road manager as well was a copy onto that one. The first page is the county administrator. Y'all can look over it.
What is it?
It just copies the statute.
Give me my copy.
This is one copy.
Oh, they want, let somebody make a copy.
You ready?
No, indeed.
I mean, that.
We'll just have to take care of that next meeting.
Yeah, we
Can't
take care
read
of
that.
that, we're not gonna, just make
And
all.
I got an item to be determined.
All right, is that it? Ms. Lewis?
Okay, I have a couple of items. I have the June tax redemption settlement to be spread across the minutes, please.
You heard the request, motion by Supervisor Hutchins, can I get a second?
Second.
Second by Supervisor Wilson, any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
I also have the certificate of attendance for Verna Johnson for attending her spring justice court clerk conference that needs to be spread across the minutes.
Got a motion by Supervisor Wilson, can I get a second? Second by Supervisor Gaines, any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
We had a notification from the coroner of another unclaimed body. We did the requisite requirement by statute. We posted it for 5 days. We've not had any family member or next of kin come and claim the body. So we need to have the unclaimed body form spread across the minutes and authorize payment to Mississippi Mortuary for the cremation.
So,
Got a motion by Supervisor Hutchins, second by Supervisor Wilson, any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay. Have the June meal report for the sheriff's office to be spread across the minutes.
so,
Motion by Supervisor Hutchins, second by Supervisor Wilson, any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Also have the August bond renewals for Robbie Dollar, Timothy Chapman, Myra Myers, and Verna Johnson to be spread across the minutes.
You heard the request, Chancellor Clerk?
You
Ooh-wee.
got to move it 2 seconds.
Got a motion by Supervisor Gaines, and a second.
Second by Supervisor Wilson.
Second by Supervisor Wilson, any discussion?
And a third by Supervisor Hutchins.
All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay, and I guess we need to do these in two separate ones. So we have received the second round of homestead chargeback notices. Glenda has been doing really well with trying to go through and see if the property has changed hands and that the owner did not get notice of the chargeback. That she's trying to not even put those in the system, which is great. So we're trying to get those cleaned up. So I have a list of ones that need to not be put in the system due to input error, as well as ones that do not need to be put into the system because the property has changed hands. I don't know if y'all want me to read those out or if we just want to spread those across the minutes. We're just basically having a record that we did receive these from the Department of Revenue, but that they should not be placed on the property. So we figured it may be good just to keep the list on the minutes.
Motion by Supervisor Hutchins, can I get a second? Second by Supervisor Gaines, any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
Okay. We have another list. We sent out these notices, the 30 days has run, and we did not receive objection on this list that we're going to attach to the minutes. So we just need to get a motion from the board to assess these chargebacks due to not receiving objection.
You heard the request to change your clerk. Got a motion by Supervisor Hutchins, second by Supervisor Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
All right, I think that's all I have. Thank you.
Ms. King.
I would like to bring across the minute the funds that we had to transfer from general account to sub-fund that insurance. The total, their expenses.
Okay.
I think I gave you a copy.
You heard the request of the county administrator. Can I get a motion? Motion by Supervisor Hutchins. Second by Supervisor Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
And we have a modification from CCA, and this is no money change, it's just a change in title position for one of their employees to be spread across the minutes.
Is this what you sent from me to sign? Okay. You heard the request of county administrator. Got a motion by Supervisor Gaines. There's a second by Supervisor Wilson. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. Is that all you had? Did you want to bring up this new hire or do we do it?
You can.
Okay. I've got a form here for a new hire, HR Director, Ms. Brenda Blanton. Annual rate, $42,000. Can I get a motion? Motion by Supervisor Gaines, second by Supervisor Hutchins. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.
When will she start?
Monday.
I've got a request for travel for Willie B. Jones. To a training conference, September 18th through September 23rd. Galveston, Texas. Motion by Supervisor Gaines, can I get a second? Second by Supervisor Gray. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it. I have a letter here from the USDA, subject beaver control program. We're ready to begin the county enrollment process for the beaver control enrollment. If you wish to enroll, let's see, the program will run from October 1st through September 30th, 2023. The cost will be $7,500 per county. If you wish to enroll, please contact Brenda Clayton. They will not accept any applications after November 15th.
So we got a little time.
We've got a little bit of time, and we'll leave it in the folder.
Yeah.
I would like to, Carthage, we've already talked about that. What Mr. Howard spoke on is we do have congressional staff that is coming in for a visit on August 17th and 18th. I don't know a lot of the details yet, so I'll let y'all know, but we have some staffers from Cindy Hyde-Smith's office and one staffer from Guest. They're still, last I heard, they were still waiting to hear back from Wicker and Thompson's office. So I'll know more on that later.
Yeah, just tell them, man, me and Supervisor Wilson, we gonna be out the country, we ain't gonna be.
They're gonna be staffers, right?
Yeah, just staffers, correct. I would like to say that I did attend the party Saturday night for Jordan Carriers on their 30th anniversary. And it's really pretty amazing what they've done and how many people they employ in this community and throughout. But there's a lot of growth there. They're going to start construction soon on a new corporate headquarters here in town. And so glad to see that, glad to be a part of it, glad to have them in Adams County. That concludes my report. Need a motion for close of termination. Motion by Supervisor Hutchins, second by Supervisor Gaines. Any discussion? All in favor? All opposed? Ayes have it.